All right. What's happening, everybody? Jeff Onofrio here with Mark the Selling Machine McKenna.
We got to tell a little background story. I was joking around on names to put in, and I'm not as technology savvy as Jeff is, and I can't change the screen, so that has to stay as Mark the Selling Machine McKenna. So it's actually pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. Well, listen, guys, we are excited to come back to you guys. Hopefully, a lot of you, I know a lot of you have, because the event we did a few weeks ago has exceeded over 5,000 views talking about COVID-19 in the real estate market. So that was super successful. And I know Mark and I have been talking, as have a lot of other professionals, about how we can continue to do this, bring good information out there to the local market. So what do you see, Mark, since some of our changes have happened?
Well, you know, our first call when we talked about this is trying to help agents out, trying to help home sellers and home buyers through this process. And I have to tell you, I am really, really, really surprised of what's going on out there. In a million years, if you would have told me that the entire area in Tri-County area shuts down, and we're on a pace in the last 40 days to break our goal for 2020, I would tell you you're lying 1,000 times over. So, you know, we've been talking about this, and what this type of market does is it brings out serious people who need housing. We've kind of figured out that housing is an essential right now, and this market is not stopping. You know, I'm getting yelled at home. You know, where are you doing all day? I'm like, I'm going to work and I'm selling houses. So, you know, I'm the only one in the office. So, you know, so we're practicing very safe. And I wanted to stress that too. It was kind of interesting today. I had a company come in and they sanitized the whole office. Came in, sprayed everything down, used the green chemical, 60 seconds, kills any germs all over. So just trying to create a safe environment. You know, if someone has to come in and notarize a doc or whatever it may be for closing. But that, I got to tell you, Jeff, I am blown away with what's happening out there. And I'm you know, we talked about it. You're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, real quick, just a reminder, since we're going to do the same thing that we did last time when we did this event. And as you can see, scrolling up, we got a little bit more technology this time. So as you can see, we got a little scroll bar here telling us, text us with any questions that you guys have. That number is 609-554-1411. I got it scrolling underneath. We'll keep that going for a few minutes. I can get annoying, so we'll probably turn that off and then pull it back up again. And I know Mark's going to dig in a little bit and show us some statistics and things that are going on in the marketplace right now. So we'll jump into that in a few minutes. But yeah, I mean, it has been crazy. The market has been busy. You know, I'm having the same issues. The wife's wondering where I am because I'm holed up down here in my basement, you know, working nonstop. I'm not going to the office, but I am working nonstop. So it's good. I'm glad that we can help people. And yeah, there's definitely people out there that need it. A lot of our first responders obviously are out there too. We're seeing a lot of nurses out there too that are looking for housing right now too, which is crazy. So it's been definitely busy. So what other kind of trends are you seeing right now? What type of things do you want to talk about?
Well, you know, the one thing you know, prior to getting the call, I've always been a numbers person, and I'm going to share on my screen. So I got to put my glasses on to kind of see what I can do. So we're going to be, so everybody can see this here.
Yep, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, here we go. Does everybody see my screen there that I have?
Give me 1 second. It's probably me. Hold on a second. You know what? You got to hit the. Oh, here we go. Add to stream. There we go.
There you go. All right, I'm on it. You're a little slow. So that's a first.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I did is I pulled a chart so people can see what's happening out there. And if you look where we're at, this shows January of 19, February, March. That's how many properties were listed going into 2019, okay? So and if we scroll up here a little bit and compare January 2020 to 19, so you have 271 to 235, 10% decrease in listing inventory. February was about the same. was off by about 1% or about 3%, not terrible. But look at March of 2019 compared to March of 2020. 356 units listed. Now, this data is not my data. I wish it was. It's all my inventory. It's not. This data is for everything listed in Marlton, Mount Laurel, Medford, Morristown, and Medford Lake. So I just call them the 5M town in my world. 356 units listed in March of 2019. March of 2020, 269. Okay? So that's a huge drop off. We're talking close to 25%. All right? Then if you scroll over and you look at pending units, okay? So that's everything that goes under contract in 2019 in March. And you look what my cursor is, 252 units. All right? If you go up to March of 2020, 242.
Wow.
So that's not a big drop off. That's only 3%. So what's that telling you? Inventory is shrinking at a pace that you cannot believe. I've never seen it before. So,
wow.
and the one thing I equate it to, hey, I own a restaurant. I got a line around the building. People all want to eat my food, and I'm almost out of food in the back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and everybody who understands basic supply and demand, we're going to be out of inventory soon. So, if you're even thinking about putting your house on the market, and now is the perfect time to do it. You have a captive audience. The buyers are screened like no other.
Yeah.
First question: are you non-contingent? Do you have a house to sell? And we're selling inventory. And buyers don't have the opportunity. I mean, they want to make decisions, and we'll get into that. Why they want to make decisions rather quickly. But that data right there, when I pulled that today, I almost fell off my chair.
That's crazy. That's good. It's amazing. It's unbelievable to not have that much of a drop off at all.
No, and pricing is holding firm without a doubt. I mean, you're getting some bottom feeders out there,
sure,
but they're going away. I mean, and let's, we got on the call a couple minutes early. Let's hear what you have to say on some of those rates.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely, rates have been obviously really good. Just to give some real quick ideas here. First of all, if I'm giving out my rates, NMLS number 38670. So all disclaimers, check our websites, reach out to me. I'll give you this information in writing. But just to look at something so some of our stuff, we're looking at like a conventional right now, somebody with a good score, putting down 5%. You could be looking at about 3 1/8 with 0 points. If they're willing to pay about a little over a point, you can get 2.875 on a 30-year right now. I mean, that's crazy. Conventional, kind of around the same, down to about 2.99 with 0 points. FHA is really interesting. So there's a lot of misinformation out there right now. Lenders are contracting their guidelines. They're putting caps on DTIs, which is your debt to income ratio. They are increasing their credit scores. I've seen some lenders as high as 680 on the FHA side. Now, we don't do a ton of these, but we do go down to a 500 credit score. But our majority of ours are going to be 580 and above. So somebody with a really good FHA score right now is really looking in the 2.75 range, actually paying back a credit, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I know, right? And then
that's the lowest I've ever seen in my 29 years.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and that cap where a lot of lenders have dropped out of that let's say 660 and below. Mm-hmm. We're actually sitting right now at 640, and we're at 3.24 with 0 points and 2.75 with 1 point on somebody with a 640 credit score, which is absolutely amazing. You go to the 580 score, which most people aren't even doing. We're at 3.625 with 1.25 points. So it's important for people to understand that that's one of the big miss things going on right now. Not all lenders are shutting down. They're not all tightening up. Some people are scared. Some people don't service. We service all of our own loans. We've been doing it since 1980, and we have deep pockets and no debt. So we're in a situation where we're able to fit within the credit guidelines. As long as the government is backing mortgage-backed securities, we're selling them. So opportunities there.
Well, the one thing too that I have really find uh, surprising is when people ask me how are things, I'm like, oh my God, we're so busy. They're like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yeah. They're like, it is so refreshing to talk to somebody who's actually has a positive outlook right now on what's happening. I mean, South Jersey, in my opinion, is so undervalued. You have a real diverse economy. You can go to New York, you can work in New York, you can work in Philadelphia, you can go to the shore. I mean, it's soon. I think you're going to see a lot of people move out of the city coming up. I think that we're starting to see more people being that want that suburb living after what happened. I've closed 2 people. Like, I just want out of here. I had one person buy a house cash just to get out of the city for a while. They're like, we just want a place to stay. I'm like, all right, we could do that.
Oh, wow.
So it's some really interesting things. And the one thing we didn't talk about, and I think this will be really good for consumers. I think there's a big misconception about forbearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
So I think that people are just like, hey, I don't have to pay my mortgage for 90 days. Okay. The banks are very nice right now, but they're not just going to forget 3 months worth of mortgage payments. Yeah. So I was told, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that if you go into forbearance, they're on month 4, they're either going to want the full 3 months back, right, or they're going to spread it out those 3 months over a year.
So every servicer handles it a little bit differently. I mean, that is one of the ways that we're seeing it. What we as a company are doing, and we service about 60,000 clients. So as the same in our situation, you are getting a lot of people who are going into that forbearance. When it happens at the end of the 3 months, going into month 4, it either comes due and payable, or they can roll into a modification, and that modification will address the entire loan overall. So it could be tacked on the end, it could be spread out, but that's where it can have an impact. I know a lot of people like to say, well, it's not going to affect my credit score because they're not reporting it late. That is true. However, it is affecting your score because now you don't have a mortgage reporting, and that's taking away from your credit profile. So there's a lot of misconception there. And what I really want to emphasize to people, and I think it's super important, is if you really need the forbearance, then reach out to your servicing company and talk to them. But if you're just trying to take advantage of it from, take advantage of something that the government's putting out there, it's not the right play, and it hurts the rest of us.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's something, if you're thinking about taking those steps, you need to talk to a professional, a mortgage person, someone like Jeff, and be like, hey, is this really going to hurt me? Right. Okay. Because that is important. A lot of people, we had one client who had her house listed, and she went into forbearance and was trying to get a mortgage. Okay. That's not going to work too well. Not going to work too well. So.
No, you've heard those things too. And it's important for people to understand that is not going to be a long-term solution. This is meant to be short-term, and we know we're going to come out of this, right? The numbers are starting to come down. And things are going to start opening up. The economy is going to come back, and we're all going to be rocking and rolling all over again. And your numbers proved it, right? I mean, what are we seeing here right now?
I mean, I haven't we're actually above pace to break our goal for last year, and our start to the year was decent. It wasn't off the charts. So when this thing started, I was like, oh my God, we're going to be, we're going to miss our goal by 35%. And I had a Zoom talk with my sales staff, and that we had a 30-day window where we were on a pace to do 135 million in volume. And that would be for like 40 million over our goal. Wow. And the reason why, if I was able to get in people's kitchens 5 days a week, 6 days a week, like I do this time of year, I would be at that pace. But with the inventory shortage, so and let's talk about a couple things, how we're listing properties. Okay, one of the things that everybody's idea of how they're reacting to this is different. Some people will just do a Zoom call with me. I have a couple that I've just done it. They take their laptop or iPad or phone around, show me the house. We go over ways to maximize value. If it's decluttering or doing some painting or whatever it may be, get that done. And then I'll meet my photographer out there. We DocuSign listing agreements, all the paperwork that you need. We'll email it to you. You fill out the doc, scan it back, and then when I come through, my photographer is super careful. He has a shirt that says "Stop."
I saw it.
Stands 6 feet away from me, and he has a gas mask on. I thought he was the exterminator, not the photographer when he came in the house. So no one in the house. He comes in, he shoots the property, gets everything done. It's a 24-hour turnaround for pictures. We're up and live and running. Video is super important. I've had 2 houses that I've sold just off of video content. And people are like, wow. I go, yeah, here's a full price offer for you. Do you want, like, yeah, we want the full price offer. I'm like, okay. They saw the video. They want to do a walkthrough. They want to bring the contracts with the check and do a walkthrough. My sellers, what they've been doing is all the lights are on, all the doors are open. Agents do not touch anything. They do not touch a door handle. The only thing they touch is a lockbox, and they wipe it down. They have gloves on, and they have masks. Okay. And I equate it, if a buyer's out looking at a house right now,
yeah,
I tell my sellers, I'm like, all right, imagine the worst blizzard we have ever had in New Jersey. And it's the middle, it's a 2-foot snowstorm. And in the heart of the storm, they're out looking at houses. That means their motivation level is a 10.5 out of 10. So, that's how, and they're like, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Because you still have leases expiring. People need people need housing.
Yeah, they got to move.
Got to move, and it's a good environment. So,
I had an agent. So, and I want to get your opinion on this. So, I had a client who was introduced to me from an agent the other day, and the guy wanted to go out, and he said, "I'm going to go look at the house with the agent first, and then we'll work on the pre-approval." And I stepped in, and I called the agent ahead of time. And I said, "Look, I'm gonna step in real fast, and I'm gonna tell them something. We do a process called true approval, which means thoroughly reviewed and underwritten, which means that the loan is not just pre-approved; it's literally underwritten by an underwriter in 24 hours, and it's giving you full credit, income, and asset approval, so that you as the agent and you as the seller and you as the buyer are only going out with people who are really able to buy, so that we're protecting everybody." Would you recommend this process?
Oh my God, hi! Because a good chance you're still going to be in a multiple bid situation. Right. So any advantage that you can have with that pre-qualification process, and that your agent can boast for you, like, hey, this isn't just a pre-qual with no credit pull or tax return. We've been through we're like at the 10-yard line. All we need is appraisal, and I'm closing this deal. Exactly. So, I mean, and honestly, I'm surprised because because every showing I get, we're calling them, are you pre-qualified and non-contingent? Right. And some agents like, no, we don't have a pre-qual. I'm like, well, you're not coming through the house. I'm not having my people get out of their house in this environment, and you can't get financing. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's what that makes it special right now, because right. No tire kickers, no people who can't get finance are coming through your front door.
Right. You're making sure you're covering everybody and making sure they're taken care of.
God, yeah. I mean, I was a couple people, you got kids at home, you're homeschooling, right. 2 dogs, you're making sure your house, every door's open, lights are on, you're getting in your car. And the feedback comes, hey, didn't list house yet. They want to strangle me. So you can't get to that point. You got to make sure you do everything you can. And that's the difficult part for us right now.
Sure.
Every step of the way is a lot more detail.
Right.
So, making sure that everything is done a certain way with buyer's agents and with home inspectors. Let's talk about the process right now, too. Sure. I had a VA appraiser the other day. He just did an exterior and based his inspection on the pictures. Right. So I said, you need access? He's like, no, I did an exterior only. He nicked me out for one little repair. And, they're working really, really good right now. The appraiser's doing good. Home inspectors, a lot of home inspectors out there. They'll come to the inspection. They'll have their equipment on. They'll have their gloves, their masks. Do the inspection. Buyer shows up like an hour into it, and then they'll kind of give them an overview of what they found, so the sellers don't feel like there's 15 people in their house at the inspection. The agent sits outside in the car, gives access, makes sure everything's going well. That's I have a home inspection going on right now on a property, so it's all moving along in a different fashion, but very smoothly. And I honestly, I'm sure you've seen it. The settlement process has been really good.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
settlement process is title company and buyers. That's it. Realtors drop off the package. Sellers are not coming to closing. Loan officers, if they have questions, they can do something remote, just like we're doing now.
Correct.
And that to me probably won't change. I think that whole process is going to just be buyer title company oriented. You might have a loan officer there, but there's no need for the seller side. And we've been practicing that. Our sellers haven't begun closing for a year and a half now.
Yeah, well, we were doing that too. I mean, we're trying to make sure that we have the mortgage package there a day ahead of time. We're spending the time to go through it with our clients ahead of time, so there really aren't any questions. They're coming to closing and they're basically just boom, 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 in and out, signing everything and getting in and out as quickly as possible. Yeah, you got to be safe, and there's no reason people can't do that. The days of sitting around the table probably over, and the selfies after the closing aren't going to be happening as much anymore.
The handshake's gone. It's a lot of things are gone.
Exactly, but that's okay. It speeds up time, right?
I'm surprised you didn't make any comments about my Tim Brown jersey in the back.
Yeah, I figured I would wait until after the draft tonight to see where we all end up.
All right, I'm going to go out and say the Raiders get CeeDee Lamb. So I hope the Eagles don't steal him from me.
Okay.
Well, I had to bring it in for the interview today.
You had to. I got my Philly stuff back here.
I know. It's awesome.
So, while we're talking about that and how we're kind of going with, the way things are changing, what about, embracing the technology aspects of this? I mean, even since our last presentation that we did, we were on just a simple Zoom before, and now we're changing over to different platforms that seem to me to be more, give you a little bit more opportunity to talk with people. I mean, it's clearer, to be honest with you. It's a little bit more we all can do, and I think it allows you to really be able to connect. I mean, I don't know about, and I know you said it earlier, but I have done more Zoom calls with clients in the last 2 weeks than I've ever done. I mean, I never used to do Zoom calls. It was always just, hey, here's get a jump on a phone. Maybe they come in the office, but now it's Zoom and everybody's cool with it.
Oh, it's much more personal. Yeah. You can see that someone's engaged when you're on it. I've had a real estate coach this is my 20th year. And in the last month and a half, we went to Zoom calls. I've never seen my coach. He's been my coach for 3 years. So I'm like, wow, that's what you look like, and it's so much better. Like, it's more intense. He can see that I'm paying attention and I'm not like drifting off. And so I just think that this technology is really changing things. And one of the things that with everybody's at work and doing things are tough to get a hold of sometimes, and I'm busy. So now, instead of chasing somebody for an hour, hey, we're going to schedule a call on Zoom. We're all on the same page. You can put 4 people on the screen. This is what we got. Everybody in agreement? Yes, let's do it. Let's move forward. So you're not wasting all that time. My big thing is, from seeing all this technology, and you can see who can be really efficient working out of their house.
Very true.
Okay, so that's something which on the commercial side of space, I don't know how that's going to affect the commercial side of office space, because I mean it opens a whole new that's Pandora's box. I don't, but I can just see it here. Like, I have my assistant's been doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, she's working, processing. If you look on the board, like, we have 50 deals in the pipeline, and she doesn't come in. She'll pick up files when she needs them, and I'm sure you're saying the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everything takes a little bit of time to get used to, but we're definitely seeing that already. And speaking of that, one of the things that I have done, and I know you and I have been talking about, is part of that embracing that technology is the open house concept. I've done some with some other agents, and I want to continue to grow it. We really believe that we can help facilitate that, because not everybody's really good with technology. I've been kind of telling people that if you want me to be involved in helping you out with these open houses, I got to get you one of the stabilizers, because if we're not using a stabilizer, I can't be having you walk around with your phone, because I'm going to need Dramamine. Because it's just too much. So what do you think about the virtual open house? And do you think it can evolve from just being open houses at specific times on a Saturday and Sunday and interrupting our football, and moving to other random times?
Well, I think, I think it can. Saturday open houses have always been a little bit of a problem because people's schedules are busy with, soccer and baseball games. When everybody's all sitting home in their house together, it's a little easier to get everybody's attention. So, and Sundays, that open house time period has evolved. It used to be 1 to 5, then it went to 1 to 4. Now it's 1 to 3 because of the technology, the level of photography that we use, the videos. Sure. So I would personally think that, doing something like an 11 to 1 virtual open house, something that I think that would help everybody. You cut into, people who go to church a little bit on that time. Some people go a little bit later. But the virtual open house, you can be sitting in your car and with your family and be like, hey, you know what? We should run over. This looks like something that works. Yeah. So I think that technology will. And remember, I think people, like, now that I'm 52, I'm a little on the older side. Everybody who's, 40 and below, like, this is like normal to them. So I think there's still a gap of some people who are, that 50 to 70 might struggle with that a little bit. But, you and I have talked about this before. The millennial buyer is a huge, huge part of the buyer market out there, more than anybody ever expected. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And as soon as you started to hit on that point on the ages, I was going to ask you, what is that pipeline that you were talking about? What does that look like in type of, breaking that down by age group? I mean, is the millennial, is that the biggest part of your buyer group right now?
I would say they're more than probably 55% of my buyer group out there. Wow. Then I have a lot of scale down, last year of college, don't need the big house, coming down. So, we had a call last 2 weeks ago, and a guy wanted to be on the golf course, got young kids, bought the big house, people scaled down, and I have the loan that you're doing for on that property, sold his house in Willow Ridge, had the pool, everything, going to an over 55 community. So it's kind of like a little swap exchange. I think people are scaling down earlier than later. Okay. I think that a lot of people you would see more in their late 60s, early 70s. I have a lot of 55, 58s who are just like, hey, we just want to kind of chill, travel, work. So they're selling their house. Some people are getting an apartment around here. They're buying a house down the shore, or vice versa, getting a rental for 6 months. So there's a lot of different trends.
Let me speaking of that trend, what do you think the impact of this event, this pandemic, has had to people that are thinking about doing something in the next couple of years? Somebody. I mean, I don't know the mindset of that type of person, but what if you were right now in this pandemic and you're stuck in an apartment versus having a nice single family, because we know what rents versus buys are, right? I mean, it's not rent's a lot more expensive right now than it is to buy. So why would you be stuck in a little, and I don't mean a little apartment, because there's nice ones, but
when you live in the city, right, you're going to get a small apartment because that's what the micro apartments and different things. Sure. And I think that a lot of people are going to be really like stir crazy sitting in a high-rise apartment building on an elevator that they have to share with 400, 500 tenants in a building, and touching a number, compared to being in your single family house, and you can get your Uber Eats still dropped off to your house. And so I think that's going to be a big push for us. You're going to start to see a lot more of that renter clientele, especially when you work out of your house.
Yeah.
So, and if you didn't work out of your house and you're forced to work out of your house and your place is tight to begin with and you can afford a single family house, they'll be like, man, I don't want to do that again. I'm in the bathroom on my laptop while my wife's on a conference call because it's a studio. I mean, that's not going to fly real well.
Yeah.
That might increase my divorce calls. The only thing I would say that. So everybody's been really, really cozy lately. You're either going to realize how good your relationship is or how rough it is. So hopefully we'll get some calls in between.
Oh man, that's brutal. What other parting shots you got for us in the regarding this area and the market and what's going on?
So my thoughts are that this thing is not going to die off. I mean, I think we're going to, as far as the market goes, we're going to continue to sell at a high level. If you have a house that's in that 250 to 450 right now, and it's priced right, it will sell in 2 weeks. I will sell it in 2 weeks for you. 29 years doing this, my inventory, just to give you an idea, is usually between 35 to 50 actives. I think right now we're at like 16. Wow. So that goes to show you, if you look on the board, that section, we usually have by the month. I would list it March. I kind of retitled that section, and it's called Post-COVID. So that's March 16th. There's 31 transactions in there put together since March 16th. The thing that I was really surprised about was the average sale price. So we got a couple 8s in there. We're closing 729 at the end of the month. So I noticed too, one went under contract at Medford the other day, was up for about 3 years and went under contract the other day at 979.
Wow.
So yes, so things that have been up for, they're nice houses.
Sure.
But when you start to see things tighten up to that level, take advantage of it. It's a supply and demand thing. Yeah. Excuse me. And there are people. I got an up call on a downpour sideways. Okay, and that buyer wanted to go out and look at a house, and it was $850. He walked in. We put the deal together. One house.
Wow.
So you're seeing a lot more of that because there's not a lot of options. And all you realtors that are out there, I don't want to coach you up too much, but if they're calling, answer your phone because they're going to buy. I'm going to pick it up. So, I mean, you better pick it up because they're out there buying and it's happening. It's actually a breath of fresh air. There's a lot of people who are struggling right now, and we're trying to do as many different things. Oh, I want to tell you real quick. We're going to do an interview next week with a food bank charity.
Oh, great.
And, they have a $50,000 grant that they have. They have nobody to help deliver. Okay. So I know a lot of people are like dying to get out of the house.
Sure.
So if someone will promote it, we'll tune into that. Yeah. So just do some different things. But I know a lot of people are struggling out there. We're going to bounce back out of this. I'm hoping May 15th we start to ease up a little bit. But we got everybody out there has to work together. We're trying to be as positive and talk about good things that are happening. I have I don't know if you saw that little post I put up the other day. If we shut down the national media for 30 days, we had a 30-day national media shutdown.
I saw that, yes.
80% of the problems would disappear. So please stop watching this. So give yourself 10 minutes of news a day and then cut it out. So.
Yeah, it is. It's brutal. Too much. I mean, we do need positive things. There's a lot of positive things going on. I mean, thank you, obviously, to your daughter who's over there and to one of my best friends, John Mars, who's over at Virtua, and they're putting their lives on the line and helping out and really, doing everything that they have to do over there to keep everybody safe. So it's important. I mean, it's, there's a lot of people that are struggling, but there are a lot of people that are really, stepping up a ton and that kind of stuff is really important. So especially to help our local markets, we really need to do that. And, if anybody out there needs help, don't be afraid to reach out. We're all to help, and no matter what it is, anything that we can do. We're local business owners in the community. We want to help people here, so don't be afraid to reach out. I think that's
Jeff. I had 2 or 3 people just send money in to buy stuff for my daughter's hospital.
That's awesome.
A client of mine Venmo me $500 and for shields. I don't want it. I was like, I mean, that's the kind of stuff. There's a lot of great stuff happening out there. Yeah. It was awesome that I thought we were a part of that. We were out front, kind of set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
For we did the Virtua thing twice.
Yep.
It's all good stuff. And, you see mortgage companies and title companies working together.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody keep up the good work and we'll get through this soon.
Yeah, we come out of this thing, for politics aside, the one thing that everybody can admit to is that we were on a good run and things were moving well. So this is a blip in the radar, and it's not something that was caused by, like it was in 08 and 09 and those things. This is a health issue, and when we come out of it, there's going to be a little struggle, but you know what? There's a lot of good things on the horizon. A lot of companies are going to bounce back really well. So just got to be there for them and support your local companies too. Support your local restaurants, the guys that are doing the takeout for us. I do take out a lot. I'm not going to lie. I was a little scared at first, but I've learned that's, from doing the research, that it's not something that you can be careful with, and support the local restaurants. You want them to be here when we come out of this. So it's super important. I know you're a big supporter of them as well. So
yeah, you have to. I mean, these guys, they're in there, they're working every day.
Yep.
The food, all the grocery store employees. I mean, those guys, the mailmen, they're working hard.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people who are just out there grinding away. So thank you to all them.
Yeah, 100%. All right, well, cool. Mark mentioned something about doing an interview with the food bank next week, and I think that's important for you guys that are interested on the real estate side. I'm going to do an interview with Dan Mayer. He is from Appraisal Links, an appraisal management company. I think that's important. Mark kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. The appraisal process has changed significantly in where we stand today. I mean, honestly, for anybody, just in case anybody is interested, even with refis right now, my focus is mainly purchase, obviously, but we still are doing a ton of refis. But we're actually getting a ton of them where they're coming through where they don't even need appraisals anymore right now. And I know some people have been concerned, can I do a refi? Do I really want somebody coming through my house? Majority of our deals are getting done with appraisal waivers, so you don't even have to have anybody in your house, which is great. Actually, I don't know if you've seen it much, but I've actually gotten them on a couple of a lot of my purchases. Actually, the one that we were talking about earlier, we got an appraisal waiver on that property.
Yeah, I saw that email came across the other day.
Right.
I had one of my listings. I kept harassing the other agent, like, well, the appraiser has a call, and like they waived it. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's good.
Exactly. So the process is changing. So I think one of the things that we want to do with this series here is really trying to reach out and get other people from in the industry to talk about what that looks like. So maybe we're going to bring some title people in. We're going to talk about bringing the appraiser in. You mentioned a home inspector earlier. Maybe we can bring them into one of these conversations and kind of just open it up so people can get that info so they can feel comfortable about what the process is, so that, you can list their house and you can help them go buy it, and I can help them do the mortgage. Right. That's the idea. So for sure.
That's awesome. But hey, Jeff, thanks for the time again. All right. Remember, if you're even thinking about it, and so I don't want to waste your time. Let's just do a Zoom call. My number's coming across the screen. You can call me or text me. We can set up a Zoom call. I need is an email. Walk me through your house. I can tell you right on the phone, where we're going to get, and I've been getting some really strong numbers lately. So it's the opportunity is there if you're even thinking about it. But thanks again, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it. And for anybody that would like to reach out to talk about, getting pre-approved, for a loan. And again, as we talked about earlier, we do true approvals, which means we thoroughly underwrite your file up front. And that takes 24 hours. We're on a 24-hour turn time for that. So you could be out shopping with Mark 24 hours from now. And then if you want to refi, the same thing. We are bumping. This is not just my contact number. This is my team number, because if we've been so busy, I can't take them all myself. But that team number you can call or text, and that's 856-600-4545. So once again, Mark, appreciate your time. Thanks for being such a beacon of hope in this environment. And let's keep it going. All right.
I'll text you tonight when CeeDee Lamb goes off the board.
Go Eagles. All right, guys. Thanks so much. See ya. Bye-bye.